Hello, hello. How are you doing? How is everyone? Oh, I'm desperately trying to share this video. How are you guys doing this afternoon? So this is an unexpected bonus video. We are going to just do a little bit of coloring on the fondant bits I made earlier. I wanted you to, I wonder what you're actually seeing. I can't tell if you're seeing the banner. Let me see. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is Amy from Seriously Sweet and Cookie Snack Attack. Miss Jennifer, I hope you're here with me. I'm going to leave this up for just a second. Could you share it into the Cookie Snack Attack group real quick? Oh my gosh. Listen, for real, this is so much fun. Thank you for jumping on with me. I'm not going to keep you long on this one. I just kind of wanted to show you what I'm doing to color some of the bits I made. And remember earlier, you guys, how I said don't make too many because it's just one cookie? Look what I ended up doing, because I just got on a roll with it and decided I'd make all the pieces for this week, next week, and to have a few extra in case I wanted to make an extra one of these. So Jen, that's cool. We won't, I don't think we'll be on 30 minutes. I sure hope not. I hope nothing breaks loose. And I'm sorry I was a minute or two late, but just as soon as I sat down to hit the live button, I saw the UPS truck out front. So a few organizational things arrived that I cannot wait to put out tonight. Very excited. Oh my God, Becky, the teeth. So I think you're one of the people that took the Timbo's Frankenstein class. Didn't you take that class? I think you took that class. I'm not sure, but we made the gnarliest looking teeth in that Frankenstein class. I don't know if you were in the live one or later, or if you saw it, but those teeth that you made today that you posted in Cookie Snack Attack, gotta tell you, they're so cool. So the next Tiki you make, if you make the crazy teeth again, you got to dirty them up with some of the dogwood dry dust from Sugar Art, and then coat the teeth with some of the glaze from Poppy. Hold on. Just hold on a second. Don't go anywhere. What is the name of that stuff, you guys? You know what I'm talking about? The Poppy paint with the clear glaze from Poppy paint. And so they'll look really gross then and look like they have drool on them, but they're so cool. All right. Hello, Miss Elaine. Hi, Becky. Hi, Jen. Let's see. Hey, Deborah. How are you doing? Kathy. Hello. Becky. My next one has gold teeth. Oh my God. That's going to be so funny. I can't wait to see. Yes, Poppy paint glaze. That's what I want you to put on there, because then they'll be all like slick and slimy looking. And frankly, it would be so cool if you'd add a little of the red Poppy paint into that clear glaze so that they look like all, you know, like he actually fit something. It'd be really great. That'd be fun for Halloween for sure. Hey, Barbie. Hey, Jen. How are you this afternoon? It's so good to see you on here. Thank you for sharing to Cookie Snack Attack. Unfortunately, my phone died, so it's in the other room, and I think I have to approve that you shared it, so they won't see it till later. But thank you. It does need approval, Jen, but my phone is too far away. I got distracted with UPS. You should see my living room, you guys. He brought like 6 enormous boxes. Hey, Jeremy, glad you made it. All right, so let's jump right in on this, okay? Earlier today, and I also want to talk to you about this. Earlier today, we did a prep video at noon. It was part of our 2-part tutorial Tuesday that we had to have on Wednesday because I had that eye issue yesterday and my eye was swollen shut. By the way, I think it looks pretty good now. I think I'm in good shape. It doesn't hurt nearly as bad. I've been doing the warm compresses all day, so I think I'm all good. I don't think, you know, anything catastrophic is going to happen or that I need to start wearing a pirate patch or anything. I think I'll be all right. Jen, you're hilarious. Just Jeremy, we are blessed by your presence. So anyway, we did our prep work and I went through the molds with you. Watch that video. You're going to need to watch that video though, because there's a lot of info in there on how to get ready for the cookie for tonight. So just watch it later. I mean, you can watch us decorate tonight, but if you haven't had time to prep, you're not going to enjoy it as much. So these are just some of the bits and bobs I made for us to use tonight. And I did make extra because we have one more week to go. Jeremy. Hey, I didn't say it. Jennifer said it. Oh, so yesterday, Jeremy, a big ordeal for me because stuff like this doesn't normally happen to me, but I woke up and my right eye was totally swollen shut, like totally swollen shut. And I didn't know if I'd gotten bit or stung or if I had a sty or what the situation was, but I could not open my eyelid at all. Like my eye was fine. I had to pry it open, and no weird stuff. So I called the eye doctor. He said, well, if you got stung, you need to get on some Benadryl. And it was so swollen, I couldn't tell if I'd been stung or not. Like, if something got a hold of me or spider bite or something. So he said, get on Benadryl. Well, let's just say for those of you who are parents who I have heard jokingly say they give their children Benadryl when they need them to sleep, it does not have that effect on me. I was wired so high, I could have been 10,000 feet off the ground. It was ridiculous. And I took a minimum dosage, but I was definitely flying high on Benadryl yesterday. And I was in some pain, so I was a little out of my mind anyway. But I think I'm going to be fine. Everything seemed to clear up last night. I was in really great shape this morning. It was just a little unusual. So that's yesterday. I went ahead and did the printmaker, the new little tiny HP. We Are the Memory Keepers printmaker that's being sold at Michael's and apparently on HSN. And oh my God, you guys, guess what? I got the gray holder for mine, but there's a sparkly pink one. Yes, it will involve more shopping. So sad. So someone's going to get gifted my gray one because obviously I have to have the pink one. My printer's going to print better if I tote it around in a pink one. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. Hey, Allison, so glad you could join us and so glad that you were at camp all week. I'm so proud of you. So great. She's at a kids camp where the kids bring their dogs and the people at the camp work with the kids all week long with their dogs. So funny. Yeah. Oh, good. Sparkly. Yeah. It's actually, it's like, it's not sparkly, like glitter sparkly, Jeremy. I saw a picture of it. It's like holographic pink. I mean, come on. Someone knew. Becky, was it Becky? I think it was Becky that sent me the message. Becky sent me the message that she got a teal one and they were selling a pink one on HSN last night or something. Thank God I don't have access to HSN. I don't know what would happen. But anyway, let's get back to it. So I made all these pieces. These are royal icing transfers. These are from a template from a few weeks ago because I just wanted to show you. You can also work these in. These are from the fondant mold that I showed you today that has bamboo. These are just plain white bamboo pieces that I made. I think I'm going to use these on my cookie tonight, but I'm going to paint them first. So this is from the bamboo mold that I showed you. And so basically what I did, guys, on that mold is I made one row and then I let it harden up a little bit. And then I just shaved off that edge because really that fondant mold is for cakes, like to do fondant in that and then put it around a cake. I know. See, actually, Jeremy, I actually thought that you would say that. Watch, let me put his comment up here so it stays in the video, that at least it's not glitter. When they said it was pink holographic and I found a picture of it, I was like, that's what Jeremy's going to say, that it's not glitter, that it's holographic. Hey, Miss Bev, how are you? Hope everything is well. I really wanted to chat with you yesterday when we were on that Zoom call, but there were so many people. So I thought I'd just wait to see you on a live. Let's see what's happening. Discover glitter. Oh, yes, she's totally going to discover glitter, and I'll be shipping her boxes of it because it's just going to be so much fun. I'll send her the edible kind, though, if you want to remain safe. And a glitter manicure, she's probably going to want that, too. All right, so then I used the other molds that were from Killer Zebras, and I made these little plumeria flowers. I used the little tropical leaf mold that I showed you. I made these in light green. I did make a couple in dark green, but the only reason I did that is because I want to show you earlier when I was discussing that it's better to make them lighter if you're going to get a base color. If you're going to do a base color, do lighter. That way you can shade darker, right? And then these are some of the feathers I made from the mold. This is from an earlier royal icing transfer, the little fans, the fan leaves, and this is a two-tone. I don't know if I'm going to use them on my cookie tomorrow or tonight or not, but I just wanted you to see them. So these are just, oh, and this is from that Minorca leaf. So this is one of them. a full one. And then this one broke when I was taking it out, but I decided I'd keep it because if I put it in on the right side of the cookie, truthfully, I probably would have trimmed that off anyway. So I decided to just go ahead and keep it, and we'll use it for that. This is one that I just used the last of what I had left, so I made it short. But remember, my goal tonight is to go way off the cookie, like to make this cookie as big as I can, because I will be creating it tonight on this cookie base. We talked about this earlier, how to convert it to a cake topper. And these are bamboo skewers that you would use on the grill. And so I'm making this one so that when it is done, I will be putting this into a floral block instead of a cake, because we're going to be photographing outside and it's going to be hot. So I'll be putting this into a floral block that has been covered with press and seal, so it's food safe. And then I will be putting material and, you know, like some grass skirts, stuff like that, and then laying out my cookies. Earlier today, I can't remember who asked me. Let me just say hello real quick. Yes, Elizabeth, glitter eyeshadow. That's going to be rough on you, Jeremy. Life is gooder with glitter. You're right, Bev, totally. Hey, Cynthia. Yes, so it is a huge cookie. This is the one I did earlier in the live today. This is the cookie chalkboard. This is the one that would be fantastic for weddings, or let's see if I can push this back a little bit. For weddings or birthday parties, luau's, where you can actually use the chalkboard part to put a family name or an established date or a bride and groom date. Ah, yes, Barbie, I'm about to show you. It was you, right, that asked earlier. Ow, ow, what is that? One of my pups is messing around by my toes. So this is what I bought in the craft section at Walmart. My cookie group got these last month in their cookie boxes because they got a lot of things. Their extra supplies this month were to gear them towards starting to take pictures of their cookies. So it was a whole box like this. They're $1 a piece. You don't have to buy the whole box. You can buy just one. But see, what you do is you flip this around, right, so that it won't collapse, because it makes like a little art easel. And then actually you go this way because this is the part you need to set on. But it comes in, did it come in the box like that? I guess it did. I guess it came in the box like that. So I'm wrong about how you put it up. I guess I'm thinking about one I got at the store. I have another one that has a piece across the back so it can't collapse. But it's a 8-inch, like for a photo frame. Okay, so this, Bev, I'm not sure what that means, but there is an earlier video for today. No subscription. Oh, no, I have a local group, and in my local cookie group, I bake their cookies, their icing, and they always get like some fun items in their box. So there's about 10 of them in that group right now, and I am so thankful for them because we had only gotten to meet in person twice before COVID struck, and they've stayed with me this entire time. Like, rarely has anybody missed a month. It's been a total blessing. And several of them are now doing cookies and making side hustle with cookies. So I'm so proud of them. But last month they got some photography stuff in their box. So you would, if you want to take any of your other cookies, just get a couple of these, have your cookie that's like a cake topper done in your floral box, then drop down in height, because this is only like 3 or 4 inches tall. Let's just go over that real quick. This is actually, let's see, 5 inches tall. Yeah, it's 5 inches tall. So it gives you another level when you're setting up your display to photograph your collection, because I really want everybody to post their collection, at least one of each cookie when you're done, because this is awfully impressive. And then we'll see how that goes. If enough of you post, then I'm going to suggest we do something together as a group for Christmas, but I want to make sure enough of you have actually done the set and are posting, and then I'm going to release something that I have planned for you that I've already worked out with another cookier. Okay, so that's the little stand. It's nothing fancy, but it holds the cookies perfectly. It's just enough to put the small ones upright. So there's that. That was from earlier. You asked about that. Let's see. Now we're going to move right into these little guys. So I don't usually color my flowers. I like them to be, this is a marbled pink one. You want to see? Now, Elizabeth, I can't say that that's not coming. Let's just say there's lots of things happening around here. Oh, you're welcome, Barbie. You're very welcome. Okay, so you see how this one's marbled? I just mixed some white and some pink and I marbled that. So I have that. Then I have some solid light pink. Then I made some with the neon pink, the Chef Master Neon Pink, made it a little darker. So we've got 3 different ones, and there we go again in the odd, right? And then in the small flower, just in case we need filler or accents, these are both from the Killer Zebra molds I showed you earlier, but you can make them from that Plumeria mold that I linked in your supply list. There's 3 sizes. I'd recommend you make all 3 sizes and mix up your colors. But I have these baby white ones in case we need filler either on the side of the cookie, because I'm planning for this to be a stand-up cookie. So I need it to look good. I need more of the cookie to look good than what normally a flat cookie would be analyzed for, okay? So I did that. I made these from the leaf that's posted, and you see how I used Tylose in them so they would harden up, but can you see how I molded them? I just put this over top of a little straw that I had here and made the curve, and it set up that way. I kept the broken pieces because the broken pieces always come in handy. These are some transfers from earlier, from one of the sets from earlier that we did, the little fan things. I made these bamboo deals, and I did these mainly in the light colors. I did a couple more of these feathers in the light colors. And then I brought from my stash that I made ahead of time, I brought in these little leaves. And then I made these little guys, and I made these little feathers. And so I thought I'd just quickly show you how to color some of these things. But the thing I wanted to show you, in case you have it at your house, because I know I'm making this a cake topper, and because no one is going to eat this, this may be a little out of the box for you, because it may not be a thing that you want to do because it's not an edible item, and perhaps you only want edible items on your cookies. But I happen to have some of the little toothpick party straws. You see, I mean, party umbrellas, like for drinks. I got a pack of them because I wanted to really take a look at them before I did my umbrella design for the coconut cookie. So I have this. And in my coconut drink, instead of putting in a really long sprinkle for my straw, I'm going to be putting in this hot pink umbrella. So cool, right? So while you're on camera with me, we're going to test something though, okay? Okay, roundup time. All right, see you later, Allison. So I'm going to use the red one because I'm using the pink one on my cookie. I just wanted to test something, just in case you want to do a little decorative, but maybe yours isn't going to be stand up. So I thought you might be concerned about it being so wide. We're going to see if this umbrella stays up if I trim it, right? If I cut a section out so that you could actually put it in a box flat. I'm going to see if it will stay open. Yeah, it doesn't appear to affect it. So you could do this, you guys, if you want to get a little more decorative. I just happen to have these because I had bought them to look at. But if you want to, and you know, never throw this little ring away, this little ring that's on the toothpick, that's actually, in case you don't want to put the umbrella fully up, that actually goes up the toothpick and holds the umbrella in place so that you can position it. So if you want to do a flat cookie and you want to add this into your drink, you could, right? So there's that. You can play with that today. We're going to use the pink one, and I'm going to leave it as a full umbrella because I know mine's for a cake stand. But let's do a little bit of coloring, okay? And by the way, how is everybody tonight? Hope you're doing well and your day's been okay. Look, you see how rough I am with this stuff, you guys? You really, I know people are like so careful and they put sheets of paper between all this stuff, but seriously, you don't need to. Look, this is just all dried enough that, you know, don't go through all that, because if something breaks, I made 10 extra at least, don't you think? I think I made at least 10 extra. All right, I'm going to put some paper towels up here, and I'm going to slide all these base pieces over. You guys know what the base pieces are, but I want to use our camera space for coloring. I've got just a basic paint palette. I have a nice fancy one that's one of the ceramic ones that's shaped like a flower, and I really love it, but it takes up a lot of room on camera. Oh, cool. Well, I'm very sorry that due to a health issue that you're not baking right now, but I'm really glad you're like the project enough that it's going to be one that you save to do later. That makes me very happy. Thank you. Let's see. I'm doing okay, being productive. Good. I'm sorry. Well, you can live vicariously on the cookies tonight. So we just have this little paint palette. I like the ceramic one because if I'm doing a big project and I'm doing any kind of painting, I pull that out because it's heavy, so it doesn't move, whereas this one, you know, you can tip over real easy. But it takes up a lot of room when I'm on camera. I'm going to be using Everclear 151. Please don't turn me in that I have Everclear in the video or get my video blocked. I have Everclear because it evaporates immediately. I do not drink, so you don't have to worry. I haven't gone nuts. Let's see here. I'm going to do the bamboo first because I want you to see that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do just a little bit of this. You can use the neon yellow from the Chef Master set that's linked in your supply list. I just don't have it handy. I have these little colors handy from something else. Oh, way too much. Oh my goodness. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. Ooh, so much. All right, so, you know, not all gels are created equal. I actually prefer to, if I'm going to use a gel color, okay, let me come over here real quick. So, Bev, normally on something like this set, I would keep all my fondant on the feature cookie, and they would be paying me to make the feature cookie like a cake topper and not for it to be edible. It would be because it's a feature cookie and great for their pictures and whatnot. And I try to keep the fondant off the smaller cookies, although I don't have a problem with fondant, never had a complaint when someone asks for it. And I do use that marshmallow fondant. Becky or Debbie, I do too. You do, you're, oh, good. Okay. I think you're saying that you shared it because you're happy too, right? Is that what you meant? So let's go back to this. So Pro Gel, I find that most of the Pro Gels like just disappear when you add the Everclear to them. Remember, we have an older video where we talk about that using Everclear, using water will all change the color. So make sure you test a color before you start using it. But I'm going to play around with the bamboo because most of the two that I already made, they and this is just ivory, guys. It's just sunny side up ivory. You can use any ivory, cork, anything like that. And this is just a forest green. But most of the bamboo I made it brown just to keep our colors simple so we could be using it on everything. But I want to do this one more like a younger bamboo, so it's like green and yellowy, more like this kind of color with highlights in it. So we're going to play with that tonight. And then I also want to show you, this is an Elite color by Sugar Art. Okay, and I know you're going to ask me where this came from. I know it came from Michael's. I know it was not in the baking aisle. It was in the craft aisle. I don't really know why they were in the craft aisle. I just saw them and thought they would be perfect. But there's a set of 3. They're the Recollections brand. Can you see that? And they're itty bitty spoons. But this is perfect for me for this because I don't have the other ones that Sugar Art sells. So this is just about the little pinch of color that I need if I want to color with it. So I'm going to put that in there because if I dry dust, if I end up not adding liquid to that, then I'll dry dust right from there. And I like to have that in a container. And I'm using that spoon because I don't want to waste it. And then I've got this nice dollar eucalyptus from Sugar Art. I'm going to put a little of that in there to dry dust. So we have a dark, we have a light, we've got medium already. Our fondant's colored medium. It's just a cool little spoon. Ooh, look, I got some yellow in there. Let's put that in here. Okay. It'll dissolve into the green, so it won't matter. But really, I should have wiped that spoon off, just so you know. That's a bad habit. And definitely don't scoop black, red, or emerald green and then go into another color. This is wax melting gel and sealing envelopes. I don't know, the other, I feel like it was definitely in the scrapbook aisle. That I do remember. But they're lightweight. I like them. They're cute. And I just thought I'd show you before you ask because I know someone's going to ask. All right, so let's, in our gel colors, let's go ahead and add some Everclear. Now watch carefully on camera what happens when I add this. I'm pouring into the cap. Do you see how that green kind of dissolved? But a little bit of clumps and bits, right? Now watch what happens with the yellow. You see how the yellow doesn't even move? Like the Everclear got a little yellow tint to it, but that yellow didn't move at all. All of these react different, so it's best just to check them. And then this one is our ivory. Look, So the ivory like does a little bit, but not a lot. So do you see what I mean about how? All right, now I'm putting a whole thing of Everclear right here to keep rinsing my brush in. Whoops. Oh, it's going to go over into the yellow. We may not be dry dusting with the yellow. We may be liquid painting with that. Oh, also, by the way, guys, if you missed this yesterday, a new drink I found, Lipton Herbal Iced Tea Strawberry and Mint. It's fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. All right, let's roll some of that Everclear this way instead of it going off, you see. All right, look, that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to have to put another paper towel over here, though, to angle it up so it doesn't come off on all the dry bits. All right, here we go. All right, that should work lovely. Now, I pulled these pieces. Let me show you if I can on here. Now, I did really, really enormous sculpting in the previous video that I did for Frosting Creators of San Antonio, right? We did sculpting. We're not doing that tonight. Tonight is meant more as beginner intermediate level. So I've used the mold to make my bamboo bits. So you need 2 that will cover this distance, cover this distance on a cookie top and bottom, and then 2 that'll fit in here. Okay, so you don't have to make that many, but we know we need 2 of those, and then we know we need 2. I think I want something a little taller than that, but I may use that tonight because, let me see if I can make that work, because it's got that nice divot in it, so I could really get some nice dry dusting on that one. Let's see. So I'm just going to pull out the pieces that I actually want to work with. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So you see, you really don't need any more than that for your chalkboard tonight. You see that? All right, and so let me just double check that I like, yeah, I like the ones that are on there. Those are fine. So I'll move these out of the way because we don't need to color all of them if we're not using all of them. So we'll just quickly work on these and get you guys ready for tonight in case you want to do this ahead of time. There's a couple videos in the series where I've done this before, but I just thought you might enjoy it. All right, now just so that I don't wind up with 50 colors on my hands. Jen, we'll see you soon, okay? We'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us. Also, you guys, if you were on earlier, I added an additional royal icing transfer to the set. So if you're one of the people that had already downloaded it, just go back to your email and there'll be an additional royal icing template in there, all the same price and everything. Okay, so let's come over this way just a smidge. Cover that up, okay, and we're going to work on these. And we're going to go with a more young-looking shoot, bamboo shoot, not the older aged ones that are tan and brown. And I'm just going to use a basic brush, nothing fancy. This one isn't even marked. So what we're going to start out with, we're going to see what this ivory does. So basically what I want to do when I'm making this color, I'm just going to stir it up enough to get the color mixed. But you see how it's got those clumps? So if I really wanted to get fancy, I would have made this ahead of time and then put it into some little, I would have filtered it through like some pantyhose, or a piece of silk screen even would work if you have a roll of silk screen like I do, and get all that out and then just put the color in. That way it's already ready to go. Hey, April, glad you made it. So that would be fine. And I'm going light to dark so that I don't have to clean the brush just yet. Now you see the yellow's real clumpy. You see how it doesn't dissolve, but I've got nice yellow color, you see, even without that dissolving. I just don't want to be working with those bits on top of my cookie, so I'm not going to stir that up each time, okay? Now that green, it kind of looked like it was going to dissolve, and I think it actually did because there's no clumps in the green. So for whatever reason that they react differently, the green seems to be fine. And look what a nice dark green we got. Isn't that pretty? So it is going to be, it is going to matter how loaded your brush is as we do those things. All right, let's clean this off. Let's clean that out right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix up that yellow. I just don't want to take too much green into that yellow. Now this one is breaking down completely. So we'll have two different shades of yellow to use to do our bamboo too. So here's how I like to work when I am painting. I like to go lightest color, come up to dark, especially on something like bamboo. So what we're going to quickly do is just use our light color, and we're going to coat all 4 of these pieces. Then we're going to come back, and near where the breaking points are in the fondant mold, where the lines are, can you see that? Let's hold that up so you can see it. So you see where it has the little divots that are in normal bamboo? We'll work from each of those out each direction and add a little bit of the yellow. We'll probably go about a third of the way down. Then we're going to come back with the green and we're going to go on top of the yellow and go a little, not as far, maybe a third of the way with the green and pull it that direction. So there's a lot of ways to do this. My way is not the only way. My way is probably not even the right way. It's just the way I learned how to do it. And I like it. The other thing I'll do is after all of this is done, I have some Sugar Art dry dust right here, and I'll go back and add a little bit of Turkish black or dogwood in the nestled corner parts and these divots, because that'll give us even a little more dimension. So do you see I'm just right now I'm not concerned about getting this super colorized. I just want a light wash, a light tan wash over the back of the pieces. All right, and I'm making sure I get the ends too, because the ends are going to show, because this is a dimensional cookie. So I just want to get that initial wash on the fondant. Now also guys, for this to work properly, I mean as best as you can, most effectively, efficiently, you definitely need to do this fondant ahead of time, and it needs to be good and dry. So I actually made these pieces yesterday with just a little bit of Tylose, which basically makes your fondant more like gum paste. So they would be dry and they would absorb this color, because you see not only is the Everclear evaporating, but it's drawing the color right in. Do you see that? Okay, so now let's jump over here to the yellow, to the light yellow, and let's not take too much over though, right? If our brush looks too saturated, just a little quick, very, very light touch to unload some of the brush. All right, so let's work on some yellow, but let's not do the whole thing yellow. Okay, let's try to stay near the ends and those little end divot pieces. And look, it's absorbing nice. It's gonna, when we combine this with the green on top of it, we're gonna get a really pretty, piece of bamboo. So you see I'm not fully going to the middle on all of these. So I'm just adding another color. This is kind of one of those things that you don't even have to be particularly good at this. You're not going to mess it up. This is one of those projects that's definitely good to jump in, get your feet wet. All right, so you can see it soaking in really nicely, right? So if you just see an area that looks a little too bright to you, just go back and add a little bit more. But I feel like this is pretty spot on right there. I'm going to go ahead and rinse the brush, not because I need to, because I'm going to a darker color, so I could have just moved on, but I just wanted to see how much, if I had any bits, like little gel bits, because remember this one dissolved, but these didn't, so I wanted to make sure there wasn't any clumps in there. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that green. I'm going to try to knock it off on the side here, and let's go sideways, because I don't want to get too much on, so better to go cautiously at first. Right, oh, look at that, running down into the cracked pieces on this. Isn't that nice? And I'm getting it in the grooves. It's going to give us a little antiquing. Now, can you see I'm actually doing long stripes? So it's over that yellow. That's why it's important not to take your yellow all the way across, because when you put this upper color over the under color, you still have nice shading on this. It doesn't, and shading because you've got multiple colors, right? And blending versus just putting down one color. But this is more like a fresh shoot of bamboo would actually look, this yellowy green. So I thought we would do the sign tonight like this, so it would be just a little bit different. But by having these multiple layers of color, even though I'm running this all the way across, do you see I'm still getting that beautiful look like an actual natural piece of bamboo? And I'm putting it darker on the ends here, because on an actual piece of bamboo, that's where, and you can go back and add a little if you don't feel like you have enough in some areas, once your brush is kind of unloaded once the Everclear in your brush is unloaded, so you're not running a lot of extra liquid onto the fondant. And again, this is working really well because I used Tylose powder in it, so it basically changed it to like a gum paste. Also, guys, I'm on a cleanable piece on my table. I've got a piece of parchment, plus I've got 3 layers of paper towels. This is just how I prefer to do it. Again, there's probably better ways. It's I just don't like the mess of all that cleanup. So I try to keep everything is where I can just pick it up, wad it up, and throw it away. The other thing is, if you know you're going to be doing a lot of painting, I would put a piece of press and seal down and put the sticky part down on your surface, then your parchment, and in case you have to pick the whole thing up and move it, that's why the parchment's there, and then the paper towel, because you can see it's absorbing the runoff. So the reason I like to have the paper towel there is so my fondant isn't just sitting in a wet puddle. So that's just some things I've picked up. Again, my way is not the only way, probably isn't even the best way. It's just what works for me. I'm happy that you guys use what's best for you, but if you can pick up any tips or tricks from me that you like, I'm happy about that too. So let's get in here, the little divots with that dark green. So I'm basically just holding my paper towel to my brush enough to let a little bit of the Everclear run out, and that's leaving my brush loaded with the green coloring, but pulling the Everclear away. So I'm going to go back and just a little bit more in these divots, and then I'm going to carefully blend that out a little bit. I'm turning my brush sideways, and I'm also using it flat so that I get some nice shading. But you see how that looks? Now, if you haven't ever done this before, make a couple extra pieces and don't overthink it. This is not a project you want to overthink, this kind of coloring and shading, because you're not supposed to. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be bamboo. So really just get the feel for it and then go back and, you know, just start looking at where you need a little more color and just add a little bit at a time. That's the great thing about this. It's very much like watercolor painting. And in some ways, watercolor painting is difficult, right? Because once that liquid has hit the medium, which is the watercolor paper, it does what it does, and then you can't necessarily change it or fix it at that point. I mean, it's going to do what it's going to do. So you have to be prepared for it to be more abstract like this. And that's actually what's quite beautiful about it, in my opinion, is that they're not ever going to all be the same. So it's a really nice artistic outlet, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. All right, let's get a little more dark on these edges and in the grooves. And then I think these are done. Okay, but let's just have a little fun because you're on with me, so why not? We haven't been on that long, I don't think, right? All right, so let's take some of our green. This is our dollar eucalyptus. Okay, I'm going to blot it out on that paper towel in here. Let's just run that, look what it does. Don't you love that? Because the fondant is still kind of wet. So running a dry dust over it, it also pulls that color in. And look what's happening. Can you see it? I hope you can see this on camera. But it's giving it that dull look like we want it to have because it looks like bamboo. But it's also giving it a slight texture because my fondant is damp where I'm brushing this on. So, ooh, so nice. Looks great. Looks really good. And it's giving me a lot of dimension in the crevices. So I like that too. So again, no wrong way to do this necessarily, except to not do it at all. How's that? The only wrong way to do it is to not do it, because it's a lot of fun. The project in and of itself is fun. This is only going to get a shade or two darker. If you're asking about this, April, if this is what you're asking about, the colors, as that dries into the fondant, it's just going to make it dusty looking. Okay. Had to hold that one in place because it's smaller. All right, so I'll hold these up and show them to you, but I think they're done. Let's go ahead and clean the brush out. I'm going to move these off, put them on something to dry so they'll be ready at 7 tonight. But let's take a look at these real quick. So this is more like bamboo, new bamboo shoot colors. This is more what we're going to do tonight than the ones I showed you earlier. So see, just a little bit. So it's fun, right? You guys would be willing to try this, wouldn't you? I mean, it's 3 colors and then a little bit of dry dust on the top. You could easily create that, and look, it looks like natural bamboo shoots. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun for tonight. Again, I'm going to be doing my cookie as a cake topper because it's going to be my feature piece. I think I figured out when my friend gets back in town, I'm going to have her make me a little stencil that says Tiki Hot Summer Series, and then tiny print, Seriously Sweet Cookie Snack Attack was Seriously Sweet at the bottom, and I'm going to put that, I'm going to use that stencil to put on my chalkboard and then take the photo of my pictures. But you should take your pictures like with a family name or maybe a funny saying you came up with throughout this process. So what I just did on there, you can do on all of these things, but don't make them all look the same. That's my only caution to you when you start to do things like this. Everything shouldn't be the same. So now I'm just going to do a little bit, let's come over here, do a little bit of dry dusting using that dollar eucalyptus. Now I'm going lighter because I want this one to be really bright, but in a previous demo, what I did to darken those little divots is I actually used Sugar Art Turkish Black to darken them up, but I want this one to be a little, just a little brighter looking because it's going to be the feature cookie for the photography when we photograph the whole set. So I've thought through all of that and what I want it to look like. Now I'm going to leave this one here because I want you to see it. Watch what I'm going to do, what this is going to look like when I do the same exact thing. It's the same fondant, same base color. You see how it's already changed that much from just doing the dry dusting? This is all the same fondant color. Now, how about we go yellow? Let's use some of that daisy yellow and watch what happens if I do that with the Everclear. You see it? It just gets a little bit of luster to it. Now I'm going to go back with a little bit of this and only do one side. Can you see how it's total creamy looking? It's almost like doing a whitewash because I'm taking that dry and brushing it straight on top of that. Think of it like an egg wash, right, on a pastry or something. I just basically did a little egg wash and then I went back and did the dry dusting, but look at how much dimension I got there from just doing that. Now let's go back. Let's pick up a little bit of this dark green. Let's unload some of the color off to the side here by just tapping the brush lightly. I'm going, because it's a darker color, I'm going straight into the crevices because the liquid will pool there. I'm not even covering the whole leaf, you guys. I'm just trying to get the liquid in the crevice and it's automatically spreading itself. So look how different these look using the different colors, which is why you need to have all of your pieces made up ahead of time. You see the different looks you can get. But when you combine those by having them look different like this and then you combine them, it's going to look much more natural when we put it together, much more realistic. That's the right word, Cynthia, realistic. So just go ahead and have these pieces ready to go. Maybe watch this video again. If you want to, same thing, you can come back and hit these little guys. Do you see how that just changed color just that quick? Then dry dust one side so you have a highlighted area. That Everclear is going to evaporate and you've got a different color there. If you want to try it on your darker feathers, do a little bit of dry dusting in the seam. Look how quick it changes this. Now, here's the other thing. I'm showing you this on purpose. If you wind up with too much on there and you basically like just literally painted it, then go ahead and thin your brush, thin it out in your brush. Pick up some of the Everclear and you can take some of that back off, but you got to do it quickly because you're working on fondant, okay? So you don't want too much Everclear sitting there to make your fondant piece weak. But look how I just worked that back out and now I have beautiful shading. Can you see that? So don't worry if you get a little too much on there. You can just clean your brush out and then use it to pull a little bit off. But this only works if your fondant pieces are good and dry. All right, let's just do one more. All right, I'm going to use this light one. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the green. My brush is super loaded. I'm going to tap it. Can you see what's happening? How that liquid's running back in there? Because it's a darker color, I'm going to be thinking of using this for shadowing. Look how that spread so quickly. There's still a lot of product in the brush, so let's just work with what's on the cookie by fanning it out into the darker areas. Okay. And you see how it's absorbing down into that fondant? So it looks like I have five or six shades of green on here, but really it's just the wash of the darker green on that neon green that I used to color my fondant. And if I want to get really creative, grab a little bit of the dollar eucalyptus from Sugar Art and just do a little dusting to highlight the tops of the leaves. Darker part down in the lower part for shadowing, leaves to create some highlighting. Isn't that pretty? I'm not putting any diamond dust on any of this because I want it to be leaves. So the diamond dust will be on my flowers tonight. But just go ahead and do a little play with that. Let's see what happens on this one because I haven't colored this one before. And you can see it's got lots of divots in it. So let's see what happens. Let's start down at the bottom, run right up that. I'm going to try to hold it so it doesn't move. We're going to run right up through here. And let's just see how far. Look how it spreads into all the little veiny parts all on its own. Do you see how far it's traveling? I'm not doing anything. And it's traveling way up the stem. So then all you have to do is basically hit these highlight pieces. You don't want to coat a lot. Less is better in this. But look how pretty. Then if you want, you can come back a little dry dusting, highlight the tips maybe on a couple of these, right? Maybe just do the edge. But I think looks really great. Look at that. You guys are going to be so ready for class tonight. I can't wait to see you later. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, the shading for real, April. The shading just makes these things pop. I'm not selling this cookie. I only had gloves on because I don't want to wind up with food dye all over myself before class tonight. So whenever I do shading or coloring, I always put these on because, you know, I'm apt to spill, if not stain my hands. So there you go. I have a box of gloves right here at my little cookie studio station. I keep them there all the time. Okay, and if no one has any questions, we're going to jump off and I'll see you back here in about an hour. Sound good? Anybody have any questions? I don't see anything. All right, so if you don't mind though, why don't you give us a like or a love and share the video. When you share this video, maybe you could put a comment line that says, come join us at 7 o'clock, this same page, for a cookie tutorial, a free cookie tutorial, okay? All right, I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you had a great day. Hope you had a fabulous, fabulous Wednesday because we're heading towards the weekend.